Sonwane, Vice President, Global Head of IS Infosys. Mr. Narendra has more than 25 years of experience in IT with proven leadership in organization transformation, digital transformation, risk management, and assurance and cost management. He has expertise in building high-performing teams and building capabilities from the scratch and ensuring the same are sustainable, scalable, and relevant. He has won several internal external awards including CIO 100, Mintech Circle 2021. His current areas of interest as user experience, cognitive science, and analytics. With a huge round of applause, please welcome Mr. Narendra Sonwane on the stage.
Hello. Good morning. I'm so happy to be here because, for the past 2 years we were all virtual webinars and so on, and I was so bored, and I'm really so very happy to be here in person, and also of course very happy to be in Mumbai as such. So what I'm going to share in the next 20 minutes, and I hope I stick to the time, is about what we have done at Infosys. And I leave it to you guys to see what are those things that we did are relevant to you, what are things that you think that are relevant in your industry, in your company as such, and then pick up those practices. I hope we have, I don't see a section for question and answer, but after the presentation, of course, I'm available for any questions of such. Of course, everybody knows about Infosys as such, but also we all know that because of Infosys, India is known as an IT capital, if you want to call it that way, in the world. Because prior to Infosys, the model was more of, body shopping, people going overseas and so on, and it was Narendra's vision that he thought that the best way to scale up this industry is to get the clients here in India, and that's where the whole campuses and beautiful campuses that we have, have emerged as such. Of course, of late we have also found our mojo back. We are doing pretty well now. Salil has been named the CEO of the year the last year as such. And the transformation journey which I'm going to talk about is also kind of coincided with him taking over. And there was some presentation about, what is the role of IT and so on. And what has happened in Infosys case is that when Salil took over and said that, no, this is our strategy and it's about digital transformation and that's what we'll do, navigate your next with the clients. We said, hey, who's going to do navigate your next for Infosys? And that we said actually we should do it. And then we took the lead and so on, and then everybody rallied around us as such. But the reason why we thought we should do it is because, till then, the IT or people used to experience technology when they come to the company. And all the high tech, etc., was in the company. But thanks to all the digital commerce and so on, with Amazon, Flipkart in India and elsewhere, the other set of companies, people saw they got the experience of convenience as such. And then with the advent of Ola, Uber, etc., all the friction of getting a cab or booking a cab, etc., that got removed. And with Netflix, etc., you have everything on demand. But just compare that with the IT that people experience in the company. It was way behind, right? All monolithic application, most of the times you need to be connected to either VPN or you go to the office only to do your transaction. And we were getting those all kind of feedback as such. And we said that no, this cannot happen actually. This is a time for us to also do a catch up as such. So what we have achieved in the past 4 years are this set of 4 apps as such. The one you can see on the launchpad is for the moment any candidate gets an offer, from there to joining, that's the launchpad application. Infosys TQ or InfiTQ is an app that is available for all the students, and they can take up any course as such. There are a set of courses, and the idea was that how do you make students industry ready as such? Because some of the courses that you learn or in the colleges, etc., may be too theoretical, may not be really industry rating. So that was our app as such, and it's open, freely available to everybody. Lex is our training, internet training application, and you name it actually. Whatever topic you want, you will get it there. Of course, we also have tie-ups with external universities as such. Only last fortnight or so, I completed a course on Wharton University as such. And you would know that Infosys was always known for its training and so on. So Infosys Mysore is the world's largest training center as such. And this Lex and TPO are kind of, very easy for us to, make it available to entire Infosys as such. The last application there, or mobile app, is what we call as InfiMe. And this is one app, and it doesn't matter really whether you are a sales guy working on a CRM solution, or for you want to raise a procurement request on SAP, or the 200 odd applications that we have. There is just one application, one mobile app, and that's InfiMe. Okay, you can carry out any transactions. You don't need to really know, the 200 odd applications, and you can imagine. Actually, on day one, we used to ask employees to log into 7 different applications to complete their formality. And now it's all on one app as such, which is InfiMe. Some stats here, and I'm trying to show it to you just to say that what we have achieved as such. On the experience stats as such, even with the pandemic, and when the pandemic hit, everybody was tied up to the desktop, and we said maybe we need to do a little slow down because who is going to use the mobile app? Anyway, you are in front of the desktop. But what we have experienced, even now, 40% of the transactions are still happening on the mobile app. And that kind of tells you that the convenience and the experience that people, once they get used to it, even though you are in front of a laptop day in and day out, you still open a mobile app and you think that that's the best way to do a transaction. Of course, it's faster and so on. And actually, people just show it how easy it is to create a PR or approve a PR on the mobile app versus to open a SAP screen and do it. It's just simply amazing the speed at which the screens load up as such. There are some IT stats as such, how much DevSecOps, etc. that we have achieved. There is a 3x velocity improvement as such. Interestingly, it also led to reduction in the tickets. We have now 22% less tickets than what we had earlier. Although the number of employees have gone up, of course, the number of features also have gone up. In terms of team, we have highest, second highest rating in terms of internal satisfaction of employees as such. And there are some external validations, and the biggest one I think is our sales guys taking these solutions to the clients. And it is not like we try to say, okay, this is our sales pitch, you go and sell to your clients. But just because they were so impressed and they were so happy with it, they went it and showed to the CIOs of their client organization saying, hey, this is what we have done and we can do it for you. Over a period of time, of course, then we try to package it to a solution as such, but that was the intent as such in the beginning. And just to talk about how did we go about doing this, and in my mind, there are these 4 things which are important when you try to do a digital transformation as such. The first is the set of products that we want, and I shared in the slide before this that what are the 4 products that we envisaged. Of course, actually we thought of many more products as such, but later on we realized actually the more the products, actually it kind of defeats the purpose as such. It's kind of a learning and iteration that we do. Platform, what kind of technology platforms that's really going to help you scale up, give the experience that we want the users to have. We moved from proprietary technologies to the open source technologies, and I think that was one of the good decisions that we took. And you can't do a user experience which is world class without the processes that are supporting it are not really agile, nimble, and so on. And that's something that we try to do it in together as such. And the last part, you may have the best experience, you may have the best product in the world, But unless you do an organization change management, unless you put effort into making sure that people adopt it, because once you meet that or cross that critical mass, then the word of mouth, etc. kicks in. But the initial part, it is very, very important for you to start focusing on adoption as such. The interesting thing is that with all these 4 things, we put it into an agile sprint, and it was a 6-weekly sprint, and all these tracks which are listed here, they were run as a cycle, and of course they fit into each other as such. I think, but importantly, while I talked about the change management, product platforms, and so on, but the most important thing is the internal change that an IT as an organization that you need to do. Because people are going to experience all that, the vision and all that you have after a period of time. But you have to take that leadership position or and I know the some speaker talked about a core team or whatever you want to call it, but that team has to embrace this change as such. Right? They have to start thinking differently. And just to give one example, when you talk about user experience and world-class user experience, any feedback, any negative comment is most welcome, because that's the only way you're going to improve. Versus the typical mindset, right? The moment somebody raises a ticket, etc., you say, oh man, this is a ticket is bad. Ticket is bad news. Negative feedback is a bad news. But when you talk about world's best user experience, then any such feedback is most welcome. And you seek the such feedback. You openly go ahead and say, hey, what can we do to improve it? And any feedback that you get is actually a great insight. The mindset change, feedback, learning. We also reskilled ourselves. Although I said that we adopted open source technology, we did it internally with our own. We talked about the learning, great learning capabilities or the facilities that Infosys has. We are 100% agile, including the SAP projects that we do as such, and I think that's the only way to really do projects in these days and times. Process mining, that is basically trying to understand the process that is, how it is behaving in real world. Looking at the logs and then trying to see what are the time that takes between the steps as such, and not really relying on or people's memory as such. Shift left is all about the DevSecOps as such. By the way, Infosys, of course, we do projects for the clients and we do an internal survey, our quality team does it and sees which are the top projects or top accounts that they say, which are adopting the best DevSecOps thing, and they have this H1, H2, H3, H3 being the highest, and it so happens that we are always in that H3 quadrant as such. Architecture product, and I talked about the kind of microservices, micro frontends, Kubernetes, as such, all the good things that you need to do as such. Because all this go hand in hand. You cannot do just one and then say that this is a digital transformation. It really requires you to transform yourself and across the board. Of course, you can do a patchwork, and I'm not saying that we did all of this on day one, right? But you need to know that this is a continuous journey. It's not that do just one and then your job will be done. It's not that. Finally, just if I want to abstract, how was the value realized by the end users? Okay, I'm trying to put some abstracted learnings as such. The biggest purpose for any organization is to deliver value to the customers. And what we have focused it as a part of this digital transformation is that how do you amplify or unlock the potential of people who are front-ending the client. And how do you do it actually? You can do it by making all the knowledge, people, IP, whatever is there in the organization very easily available to the sales guy. And that's how you amplify it, right? As if the whole organization is there behind that person. So on the mobile app, if a person wants any case study, any proposals, anything, he should be able to quickly say it while he's talking to the client and saying, if the client picks up any topic, you should be able to say that, hey, you have done something. It also lists down the set of people who are associated with it. If it so happens that it is in the same account as the sales guy is doing it, he can call up that person and get maybe a 2-minute phone call as such. That's what I would say that what we have done as such. The second, of course, Infosys has 300,000 employees. We are all people-driven organization as such. So it's important that the employee value proposition that the company has is seen by the employee. It is not there somewhere in the PPT. It is not there in set of policies. That is something that people are able to experience it. And how do you do it? And that is through our hyper personalization. When I log into the mobile app, I see things which are relevant for me, which I can make use of as such. It's only through that, the policies or whatever good things that companies have can reach to the employees as such. Of course, employees are interested in what are the rewards, what are they going to recognize. And again, the recognition should be easy. And recognition is something, so we have a centralized, of course, in that Infimi, any reward, etc. you get, you see it here. And you can, of course, show it to your girlfriend, boyfriend, mother, father, or whoever, right? Career and learning program, it's most important for people in today's time, and we talk about 1.5, 1.7, 1.2x and so on. So there is another way to look at it. It's kind of a little digression, but I think, we can never ever meet the wallet or what employees' expectations are from a salary point of view. You can never ever really meet. But there are other two aspects which you can try to compensate with. Of course, you need to go some distance. Maybe 1.5, 1.6, whatever is that, or closer to what the employee expectation are. But the other two things are about what we call as head and heart. The head being, what are the career opportunities that the person gets? What are the learning opportunities? What is the culture of the organization? Right? That's the second part. The third part is, of course, the purpose and what are we doing and so on and so forth. Right? So that's and how the company really takes care of the employee as such. And again, it has to be very, very visible to the employees, right? That's the employee value proposition. And the third piece is the whole operations. Although there is the client value proposition as such, but there are a whole lot of processes and applications that the employee needs to interact with to deliver that value. Simple thing is now, for example, for this event, I had to travel. But how easy it is to create a travel request? Is it closer to make my trip, or is it like a lot of pain as such? How can you make it the whole process or the supporting thing that is there? If I want a software, can I get it in 15 minutes, or is it going to take 2 days as such? So how do you remove the friction and speed things up for the employee as such? So that's I say as the optimize the ops as such, and then that's how you realize value as such. That's all I had. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for this wonderful presentation. May I please request once again Ms. Amita Roy to come forward. Do we have any questions? Like anyone from the audience would like to ask any question? Sir has finished on time, so yes, sir. Can we have the mic, please? Can we have another mic? Okay, once again, I will only give my mic to you.
Thank you for this wonderful presentation. I had one question on that hyper employee personalization. How you could achieve one employee getting a very personalized message as compared to 3 lakh employees which you have in Infosys?
So you need to have a profile of employees, okay, and persona profile. It's a mix of that, and of course we have businesses in Europe and all that, so the data privacy rules are pretty strict. So you need to have a fine line as well. So for example, if I see career opportunities, and I put the rewards recognition career as the first one, I should see, if I'm a data professional in Europe, I should see opportunities which are there, which are relevant to me in the European region. I should get, again, the next set of courses that I can take, which are very, very relevant to me as such. When I say, for example, when the COVID happened, then of course, depending on the geography, you should see what are the benefits, what are the support that the organization is giving which is relevant to you. That's how you do it. Otherwise, and it should come on the first page itself, because nobody goes to the second tab, third tab, or scroll down below as such. It should come up, and based on how you click or not click, over a period of time, the page should get changed so that you see most relevant things that appear on the top. But that doesn't mean because that also has a problem, right? There are some other good things which the employees are missing out. So that's where then you send nudges which are personalized again to him, saying that hey, you may be interested in this kind of thing. Something which actually the Amazons and all these good guys have already actually shown the path for us. It is something for us to walk our own path.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
I will request Amrita ma'am to please come forward and present this small token of appreciation to sir.
Thank you so much.